become an influencer, it gives you the edge that separates you from the competition. The GIP initiative, the Global Influencers Partners Program, is designed to expose you to over 5 billion potential consumers across the world. When you are a rising star in business and you need visibility, reach, impact, client conversion, and cash flow optimization, positioning yourself to become a global influencer may be the ideal tool that you need in your arsenal to win in business. I encourage you to join the GIP initiative and position your business to build confidence, trust, and credibility and cash flow optimize the fastest.
To win in business, you need to be proactive. And to be proactive means that you're thinking ahead, you're seeing beyond problems, and you have mastered the art of informed action. As a rising star in business, one of the first things that you must think about is what is the fastest way to cash flow your business and your brand. And I'm happy to say we have done the research, and what we are seeing is that the pull factors of sales or influencer marketing gives you a gateway to cash flow and cash flow fast. The pull factors of sales or the influencer marketing is one of the art of the sales that we encourage you to learn, apply, and master. The pull factors of sales gives you the ability to sell without sounding too salesy. The art of the sale can be leveraged across multiple communication channel, and today I will do a deep dive into how you can apply the pull factors of sales or influences marketing across media. You need this type of leadership. I also want to say that we have also designed the GIP initiative, which means the Global Influencers Partners Program, that really gives you multiple pathways to cash flow and to cash flow fast. And every business needs to understand this. So I encourage you to definitely become a part of the GIP initiative. I know you may have to join the waiting list because there are a number of persons who are applying for this program, and we're only teaching X amount at time. So I encourage you to join the waiting list now. Today, we're going to be having a pretty interesting conversation. We're going to be having a business boot camp. And of course, we're going to be talking about leadership and business. And I have great leaders in the house who are actually in business, who are actually in leadership, to help us to navigate today's conversation. With me in studio, I have Shivani Sinarayan, and she is a project practitioner by profession, which I find is very essential to doing business. I have Peter Scott, and Peter Scott, he is the brain behind Legacy Chronicle Human Growth Master Planning, and he talks a lot about the importance of human resource development. And I also have Paul Whitehouse. Paul Whitehouse is the guy that's going to help you to access the much needed capital to grow and scale your business. And last but not least, we have Frank. We have Clement Frank. And Clement Frank, he is an economist by profession, and he is also a certified leader that will really work with you to help you to understand all that you need to know to attain a high degree of success in leadership. So, with that being said, I want to welcome each and every one of you to today's program. Today, we're looking at leadership in business under the heading, a new heading, Business Boot Camp. Now, let me begin today's conversation by breaking down a couple of concepts. I spoke earlier on about the pull factors of sales, which is a form of the influencers marketing. And what I would have established is that this technique of sales can be deployed across multiple communication channels. For example, as an influencer, you can choose to use mass media. And by extension, when we talk of mass media, we are talking about radio, television, and newspaper. And do you really have the ability to execute effectively across mass media? And now let me say the reason why I'm asking this question and why leadership is so important here. Because what leadership enables you to do is to think ahead, is to see beyond problems, and is to take informed action to achieve the desired results. The desired results that you want to achieve here is to cash flow and to cash flow fast. Yes, becoming an influencer is going to position you to break through that know, like, and trust. But now you're using the media, whether it be radio, television, and newspaper, to help you to attain the reach with the ideal client. So there's a number of things that you need to pause and ask yourself about the media, even before you start to use that. All right. So we look at the media from a number of standpoints. One, we look at the relevance of the communication channel. We look at the effectiveness of the communication channel, and we look at the effective use of the communication channel. Because you may have an excellent brand, you may be a good influencer, but if you don't understand the communication channel in which you're using to achieve the end results that you want can be significantly undermined. So let's examine these three things very quickly. The communication channel in which you are using, you want to be certain that it is relevant to helping you to reach the ideal client. Now, how do you know that? There's a concept that we call data collection. And one of the weaknesses that we have seen in the traditional communication channels, meaning radio, television, and newspaper, they are not collecting enough data that will help you to identify who's your ideal client, or if your content is reaching the ideal client and in what numbers, and helping you to make the assessment to get feedback. So this is a weakness that we have seen in the communication channel, and has a person who is involved in influence and marketing, if you're not taking this into consideration, and perhaps someone is paying you as an influencer to help them to achieve their business bottom line, you're undermining that process for them. So with the GIP initiative and with what we are doing, we go deep into these analyses to really assess the effectiveness, the effective use, the relevance of the communication channel, and to help the end users to get the best results. So this is one of the first things that you want to be able to establish, all right, the relevance. The effectiveness of that communication channel can be looked at from a number of different standpoints. But let me present one standpoint in how we can assess the effectiveness of the communication channel. Now, having a communication channel is one thing, but producing content that is reaching an ideal client is quite another story. So the effectiveness of the communication channel can be viewed at from, this is one standpoint. Now, the effectiveness of the communication channel could also be assessed from the span of reach. So you're in business and you want to not only reach in a specific location, in a specific community, perhaps you want to carry your information nationally. Is the communication channel designed to give you that national visibility that you're going after? So here is where you're checking the effectiveness of the communication channel to take you here. As an individual, again, who is applying what we call the influencer model, it's not just you becoming an influencer and that is the beginning and the end. Your skill set, your knowledge set must be measured against the communication channel that you're going to be using to help me, the advertiser, to reach the ideal client. So you must put yourself in that position of strength to examine the effectiveness of the vehicles that you're going to be using to achieve the objective. Because, of course, when we come to Paul, we are asking Paul for money for advertising, and you want to be able to measure the effectiveness of your advertising dollar that is being deployed at nurturing the influencer marketing and leveraging that into the communication channel. So just let me quickly recap the three heading here. You need to assess the media relevance, the media effectiveness, and the media effective use. I'm just going to talk briefly on the effective use of communication channel. The effective use is saying to you that the managers or owners of the communication channel, they have done their analysis, they have done their span of control, they understand who's their target market. And based on the fact that they understand their target market, they are building content or producing content that appeals to that ideal client. And that constitutes in some form the effective use of the communication channel. So they know the channel is reaching this span of control. They know that this type of people are existing within this span of control. And now they have designed specific content that appeals to that demographic. Now, what all this has to do with you, the advertiser? If the communication channel have this data, when you as an advertiser, when you as an influencer is partnering with these specific institution, you have the data to show. All right. And because they have the data to share with you, it is helping you, the influencer is helping you, the advertiser, to make more informed and educated decision in justifying the reason of working with the specific media. Because in most cases in business, if you want to get the visibility, if you want to break through some of the know, like, and trust, if you want the visibility to reach the impact, the client conversion, these are things that you need to know. It's not accidental. So I just want to put this out here as some of the lessons to be taken away in today's business boot camp. And I do believe that there is leadership and that is needed in this particular case for businesses. So again, we talk about the fastest way to cash flow. The fastest way to cash flow is to become an influencer, but becoming an influencer is not the beginning and the end. Your talent has to be channeled into a communication channel, and that channel must be relevant to your ideal client. The channel must be effective, and the channel in itself must be built out to serve in the area of having effective use also. So I'm going to pause there on those three areas. And what I want to do, I want to come to Paul and just ask Paul to chime in a little bit on the access to capital part. In today's bootcamp, it's all about the business. We want to provide solution to businesses. And I now want to ask Paul to just walk us through some of the financial instruments that we have to help those rising stars in business to understand that, hey, there's other options available to them. Paul, all to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I can make it short and sweet, probably wrap it up in less than 5 seconds by saying capital is available and you're approved. What are you approved for? You're approved for equipment financing. You are approved for growth capital for your business, real estate financing, and difficult credit. It's still available. Don't worry. Don't think that it's not available. Do not think that because you were declined 3 weeks ago at your bank that you have no hope. You do have hope. You just have to work with somebody else. Your bank will give you what is in their parameters. And literally, if you're 2 points below their minimum credit score, you are out the door with no money in your pocket. What's the solution to that? like I said, other lenders, Patriot Business Finance Consultants, Global Capital Incorporated. Contact us, paul@patriotbfc.com, DM Gary. You will see Gary's email come across at the bottom. There you go. And different lenders. So there's lenders out there who want to say yes. Matter of fact, they were designed because they know some lenders only want to work with difficult credit because they know that it's a big market. And somebody's got to say yes. You can't leave everybody out in the woods alone with no hope, no food, no water. Somebody's got to be there for them. So, does it cost more money if you have difficult credit? Is the cost of money more expensive? Yes, it is. Do you have to put a down payment down? You do. Can't change that. But what we can change is where you're at right now. So take that step, do that thing, put the money, contact us first. We'll get a term sheet for you. Take an application, submit it, get you a term sheet. A term sheet's going to spell out the details of your approval. And do what you got to do for right now. If there's difficult credit involved, make the payments on time, always. And that credit score is going to improve. Your business paydex score will improve. And the next time you won't have to put a big chunk of money down, and the cost of money will be a lot less expensive. But if you don't do that, then it's never going to improve, and you will always be stuck in the same position. So growth capital, equipment financing, real estate financing, a couple of things called factoring and purchase order financing. So factoring, if your cash flow is slow, your invoices are one of your accounts receivable are one of your greatest assets of your business. You can sell them at a discount. You might say, sell them at a discount. Why would I do that? Well, maybe you have to do that because cash flow is so slow. You got to pull it from somewhere. And really, that discount that you sell it for, I mean, that's a tax write-off. You're not necessarily losing the money. And what type of a discount am I talking about? Depends on what type of annual volume that you commit to. So a factoring company will ask you to commit. Now, if you commit to $1 million plus, your discount's less expensive. 1.5, 1.5 points. If you commit to $100,000 annual volume, you're looking at like 3%. So what does that really look like in the real world? You got what you have into your product or service, this much. You got your profit margin, which is this much. If your profit margin is 10, well, you don't want it to be 10%. Hopefully it's more than that, but 20%, 30% or more, then you've got room to sell it for a discount. And you're still making profit. And what does that do for you? It gives you immediate cash flow when you don't have it. I could keep on talking, but then there's more products that we have available for you. But that's just, I guess, a small sample of what we have available for you. Back to you, Gary.
All right, thanks for that share, Paul. There's a couple of things that I just want to say before I come across to Frank. In starting and scaling a business and seeking after capital, I think that there's a certain type of leadership that you need for business. Now, what we see happens very often to a lot of rising stars in business, you take a debt and you're not guaranteed about the way in which you're going to cash flow that debt. You have an assumption, but assumption can hurt you. And one of the things that I want to recommend in today's business bootcamp is that before you take a debt, ensure that that business is cash flowing. So again, before you start that business, before you take that debt, you want to be asking yourself, what is the fastest way to cash flow your business? All right. And that's so important. And once you figure that out and you want to test it, you want to ensure that you can bring yourself to the point where you have guarantee buyers, because those guarantee buyers is what's going to help you to not only cash flow, but to reach your monthly debt obligation. From the time you take a debt, all right, you depend on the type of debt that you're taking, you would have debt obligation. All right. So I just want to add that a little bit. And I'm happy to say in this community, we will give you the kind of information that's going to help you to make better business decisions. So if you want to cash flow now and cash flow fast, we're going to give you multiple approaches to do so. And that's one of the reasons why we have started the GIP initiative. From the get-go of that program, you're going to be introduced to about 5 to 10 different ways to cash flow your single source of income. So you might be a subject matter expert in access and capital, but could your knowledge of access and capital be up leveled into multiple streams of income? We're going to show you all of that, and then we're going to introduce you to international platforms where you're going to be able to access, in cases over 2 billion, in cases over 5 billion, potential consumers. And this is what we can do for you because we are now partnering with some international platforms to help you to fast track the growth of your business. So I just wanted to add that a little bit. I can see that Frank is now back. So Frank, I would love to hear your thoughts and your contribution on business leadership and business, today's business boot camp. All to you, my friend.
All right, thank you very much. To all the colleagues, trust you had a great weekend, and to all the listeners, welcome. I want to look at how leadership in business should develop a winning mindset, because we're in the ever-evolving landscape of business. Leadership transcends beyond mere management of tasks and people. It's about cultivating a mindset that steers an organization or entity towards success. You have a winning mindset in business leadership. It's not just about having confidence or vision. It's about fostering a mentality that embraces challenges, it adapts to change, and continually seeks growth. And this mindset shapes how leaders approach problems, how they make decisions, influence their teams. It's a driving force behind innovation. It's a driving force behind your resilience. And ultimately, the long-term success of any business. So what I want to explore is the attributes of winning a mindset, of having a winning mindset as a business leader. How you can understand this impact on various aspects of leadership, and then provide practical strategies for developing and maintaining this winning mindset. Whether you're an established leader or you're aspiring to be one, cultivating a winning mindset is key to navigating the complex and dynamic world of business with agility and effectiveness. A winning mindset is in business leadership is a mental framework that combines ambition, resilience, and a forward-thinking attitude. It's characterized by an unwavering commitment to achieving goals, not just for personal success, but for the broader definition of the organization. And leaders with a winning mindset see challenges as opportunities to grow and learn rather than obstacles to avoid. And this perspective allows them to approach problems creatively, and they foster innovation and driving the teams to think outside the box. So the resilience is a key component of this mindset. It's about maintaining focus. It's about having a determination to face setbacks and failures, understanding that these are integral parts of the journey to success. Additionally, a winning mindset is not static. It involves a continuous process of learning and adaptation where the leaders evolve their strategies and their approaches in response to changing business landscapes. And they also recognize the importance of emotional intelligence, the ability to understand and manage your own emotions, as well as empathize with those of the team members. And this allows for more effective communication, conflict resolution, and team building. Importantly, a winning mindset is infectious. because it has the power to inspire and motivate teams, which create a positive work culture where um, everyone is aligned with the organization's goal and they are driven to achieve them. In essence, defining a winning mindset in business leadership is about cultivating an attitude that embraces challenges, adapts to change, and continues to seek personal and professional growth. There are a lot more I could share, but I'll give you over to Gary at this moment.
All right, thanks for that share, Frank. You've spoken a lot, but I noticed that you focus a lot on the influencers and his capabilities, having a winning mindset, his abilities to influence the workforce. And I do believe that that is so essential, because when you have great leaders that takes the time to understand the workforce, that takes the time to nurture team effort in the workplace, is really set that stage to propel and advance the growth of the organization. You also, I'm going to come to Shivani now. You also mentioned a number of other things, embracing challenges as a leader in business, and not seeing necessarily the challenges as something there to undermine your success. Although sometimes, these things do happen, but you're using the challenges as a stepping stone to achieve greater possibilities in your business life. So I love that concept. So a winning mindset is a certain type of mindset, and I know that you're an expert in this field, that regardless of what that mindset says, the game is not finished until I win. And I love that. Shivani, I would love to have your perspective on leadership and business, and I know that you're going to bring the project management leadership here, but the floor is now open to you, Shivani.
Thanks, Gary. Now, when we speak about leadership, project management, you have your project to run is all about project leadership as well. Now, what we will follow is the project management body of knowledge. Project managers, that's one of the good books, as we say, for project management body of knowledge. There are others. There's the Prince too as well. But the project management body of knowledge, we speak about 12 principles that we have to be governed by. Any project that you have to lead, you are governed by 12 principles, and you have to, tailor these 12 principles for the project that you have to win, to execute, right? And one of the key principles is leadership. So leadership is a very, very important point when we have to look at implementing our projects. How do we have to look at leadership here? So leadership in this example would be more servant leadership. So that's what I want to bring to the floor, servant leadership, where you have a team of persons, you have your resources. Now we talk about it from a project management point, resource loading. You have your resources. How do you work those resources? Now, this is providing that these resources are effective, right? Not all the time the project manager may be in the position to select. So these are resources that have been given within the organization. And, that's another conversation then. But let's say that we have the correct resources. How do you lead these resources for better success? Because it's not me as the project manager that is going to actually do some of the work, right? The execution may be the team. I am simply managing and leading the process as the PM. So as the PM, you have servant leadership. Servant leadership really involves giving your team all the tools to perform the job, and ensuring that when they have the tools, they can really perform. So I have seen some organizations, sometimes you're in crisis. And what I keep seeing recently, you expect me to do all of this with no tools, but servant leadership looks at giving the organization or giving the people the correct tools. Now, there's the correct tools to do the job. If I'm in facilities management, I have to supply the tools, IT, whatever type of project that I'm running. You have to give your people the tools to perform. Otherwise, they can't. So something we keep talking about also in my field is give people everything, give them all the tools, and let's see if they can really perform. If they can't, well, they can't come now and say that you didn't give me this or you didn't give me that. Give them all the tools. Now, tools is not only, work breakdown structures, whatever tools that you need to do the job. Now, that's a very, very important aspect. And that involves one of the key principles in leadership from the project management body of knowledge. Now, many persons, and Frank was talking about having the winning mindset. So many persons in business and projects, how do you attain the winning mindset? How do you get people to have this winning mindset? Because, it's all about achievement at the end, the goal. What do you want to achieve? You can't just say, okay, well, the project was a success and nothing was done. You have your project to produce. A very interesting point, So how do you start it? Now, we keep talking about you have to produce, you have to show people the vision. So if I have a project to run, I have to show you the vision. I can't come now and say, what do you want me to do? What is the vision? It's no longer about I, but it's about we doing the thing together. But what I want to throw out also with that concept, yes, I do believe in the we. Don't get me wrong, Gary. I do believe in the we doing the thing together. But my 2 cents in this is it must start with the I in order to change to the we. So you can't now come and sit with your people and say, we in this thing together, we in this thing together, and you don't know how I want it to be done. So it starts with the I in order to convert to the we. Nobody wants to listen to someone, Gary, as you know very well. And as Frank would have just spoken about, nobody wants to listen to somebody who can't direct me. Yeah, you have to give me direction, yes. But it must turn into a we. You can't be doing all the talking, just like this here. You're not doing all the talking. You set in the business boot camp and we following. And we turn into a we. But you set the talk. You set the end goal in what we want. So my spin on it, I keep hearing people talking about it like it's a we and as a we and as a we. It is a we, but you have to start with the I first. And it's all right, it's all right to start with I. A lot of persons no longer want to talk about I and they'll say we, but nothing could happen with a we if it doesn't start with an I. Right? So two learnings for me always that I want to contribute here with leadership coming out after Frank will be one of the principles of project management body of knowledge is leadership. Very, very important, a big, big role. And we wanted to introduce servant leadership. Servant leadership, give your people everything, providing that you have the proper resources and they will work. But you have, much more to do than just give people everything and they will work, right? And the second point is, yes, it's all about we, it's a team, but you are managing, you are leading. You have to set the I first and then it will turn into a we. And that is a disconnector. A lot of people, keep seeing it. We want to just jump into the we, but you forget you are the one that's supposed to lead. You are the one. Thanks for that, Gary, right?
Shabadi, you made me laugh because
I was frightened. I'm frightened to know how you're going to give the analogy now with the I into the we, yeah? And
yeah,
I kind of thinking how we're going to do that.
no.
That was our last conversation.
Well, I can give the analysis from multiple standpoints, but I want to come to the laughable one first. You're right. People in corporate arena, they would normally say this is, a collective efforts. We're a team and we're family. But I always reference back to how a family operates. A family is a gel team. A family support each other. Unlike when we had the COVID-19, that we went out the window. That, collective effort went out the window. But bringing it back to some of what you were talking about, you're right. Because what I've seen happens very often. Sometimes when we hear it's a we thing, it's us social psychology being deployed to get compliance into the project. In cases where there might be a genuine effort for that to happen and where it works, I think it works where you have independent thinkers that can come together at the boardroom and can say, can we think tank a challenge and can we find solution? But again, there's someone who is leading and someone who still have who is looking at the entire project from that panoramic view, to ensure that you give it proper direction. On the other side of it, and what we have also seen is that at the lower level of decision making, you find that the I nor the we is not working the way it's supposed to work. But it's a deep subject matter for us to look at. We could be deceptive. We want it to be more authentic when we use the term we. And of course, I is not necessarily bad because the I says that I have a clear sense of direction as to where I want to go, why I want to go there, and how I'm going to go there. And I'm smart enough to know that I alone cannot move the process forward. So I'm going to identify highly motivated persons and make them my team. And it's going to become a we thing from that point. So, but you also made a few other points that I want to touch on because very often we talk about leadership. And I find sometimes that the term leadership is so abstract. You see, in project management, you have just mentioned the 12 concepts and the various concepts to navigate project management. In management of itself, we can talk about what the composition of management, setting objective and planning, organizing resources to achieve the objective, communicating with and motivating your team, coordinating activities, and measuring and controlling performance towards the objective that you want to accomplish. Anyone who has studied management, these are some of the tenets that management stands on. But what are those essential tenets that leadership in of itself stands on? Because I see so many gray spots to the term leadership, what we have done with the GIP initiative is to set up certain parameters, certain standards that when anyone comes through our leadership programs, also interfacing with Frank, there's a couple of things that we are looking for. So whether you're dealing with a leader from our community in project management, a leader in finance, like for example, Paul, a leader that is going to deal with, personal life master plan, there's a couple of things that you can expect. One is what we're going to call high reward. Any project manager that you're dealing with, any leader that you're dealing with, are you able to say at the end of the day, one of the end results is high reward? And high reward may have different, connotations. We'll go into that later on. The second thing that you want to accomplish is measurable results. Because if you're interfacing with a leader and you don't have measurable results, it might be a process that is a runaway train. But you want measurable results that is properly timeline. It's like Paul, in Paul's case, who deals with finance, he can say, okay, the high reward is that we're going to get you the capital. The measurable results is that we're going to get you the capital within 6 weeks or 2 weeks. All right, that is measurable. But I want to push a step further. It's predictable. How about predictable outcome? You want to know that when you're interfacing with a business and you're paying that business leads to say, I want to grow, I want visibility, I want cash flow. What tells you that you can get the predictable outcome? And are leaders holding themselves to this type of standard when it comes to delivering on products and services? Well, I can talk about our intention behind what we are doing is to deliver at the highest level. All right. And the fourth concept that I want to do is to coin all of these things into one, where I'm going to talk about high reward, measurable results with predictable outcome with the highest degree of accuracy. Is your leader able to give you this result? And this is something that we want to hold leaders to that standard. So when we talk about leadership in business, We're saying to you that when we make a promise to you that we're going to help you to grow and scale your business and we're going to help you to do it fast, we have all of these, what we call TOPACs, targeted performance outcome. You might want to call it KPIs, performance indicators, but we have the TPOC, targeted performance outcome. So I'm going to pause here for now, and I'm going to come across to Peter because I know that he has a lot to say on the term leadership. I know you wake up extra early this morning to shine.
Oh Lord, yeah, the time changed. The time changed. So I got up an hour early and I was ready. But anyhow, we're here.
I have to call Peter. Peter now called me this morning. I said, wow.
I was up
So
and I
much
was at.
leadership. You,
There we
you
go.
played in your elements now, Peter, right?
I'm telling you,
All right,
because
on to you, my friend.
it is a serious thing. When we consider what we want, and I'm thanking very much, Gary, for creating this business boot camp. And we want to encourage our listeners here that the information that you are getting here, if I had gotten this information, if I had found this one place where I can come consistently and to be hearing different perspectives on on the same matters that addresses entrepreneurship, business development, and personal growth. If I could have had this 10 years ago, I would have been so much further than where I am right now. But what we want to get individuals to understand, as we're dealing with leadership in the parameters of business, and we're going to actually say that in us talking about business, there are certain components that goes into making a business successful. If you're going to make a business successful, then you got to take into consideration just what Shivani was saying a while ago, the I in the persona, the persona, I has to stand up first, because business, any successful endeavor, it's an idea to solve a problem, not just running after money for the sake of having money. But successful businesses are in place to solve problems, and it is in solving problems that individuals are going to generate revenue. But the I behind that, the business concept came out of an individual who has found his problem that was designed for him to solve. And so the development of that I, that persona, who that person is, has also, as Gary has talked about, he has developed some level of influence where he's able to communicate what his solutions are to the community. And he's doing it also in our world of master planning and helping individuals to design their master plan. That I starts with, yes, your personal life, which is also going to take into consideration your family, because you're making money. You have people, you have a wife, you have children, you have those who are dependent upon you, and your family is existing within a community of other families, and there are corporate agreements that has to be formed for you to operate as an individual, operate as a family, and operate as a community. But with that, the I that is coming out, it comes from the I being a leader, comes out with a mission. And so, what we want individuals to understand is, because a lot of times I see individuals, they are moving forward or they are carrying out activities, but they are not clear on what the mission is. And if you do not have clarity, the more clearer your mission is, the more objective you can be, and the greater the results that you can create. So you have to be clear on your mission, and then you have to be able to communicate your mission well. So you're gonna need messages. You're gonna need to break down your mission into words. What are those words that you are going to say that is going to describe what your mission is in such clarity that the person who is receiving it, the individuals, as Shivani speaks about, transferring from the I to the we, in order for you to have that transference from the I to the we, then the messages has to be clear. What you actually say to communicate the message so that the we can understand what their parts are. The message is going to be very important, because the end result that you're looking for is a movement, not just for us to have a mission and a message, but you need people to be moving. You need movement in two areas. You need movement in the people, and you're going to need movement in the project. So the message must be inspiring, because if you're going to generate that movement, the message and the movement, because people want to surround themselves, as Gary said a while ago, there must be a high reward. So the message has to carry those toe packs that he mentioned: the high reward, the measurable result, the predictable outcome, the high level of accuracy. So that movement that you're generating, it must be an environment that is inspiring. People are just the movement. They are just excited. Talk about a Martin Luther King, where people were willing to even die. People were willing to put themselves on, on where they are in danger, because this movement means a lot to them. And in them moving, the people working together, then you can know that the project is actually gonna, those smaller components now, because the people, each person having those small components of what they have to do, then each project, as Shivani will always talk about, will actually get done, and the measurable results can be seen. So what we want to get individuals to understand here this morning is that every day there ought to be a difference. Every day there ought to be, every week it must be turned out from the day to the week to the quarter. And how are we going to do that? Let me say again, breaking it down like this: there has to be clear mission, there has to be a message to describe the mission, and there has to be a movement to support the message and the mission that is propelled by people doing their projects. And when we just can do this, have this rhythmic move, at the end of the day, you will have a sense of satisfaction. You can have those small wins that inspire you to move further, faster, and to accomplish those things that your mission was designed to do.
All right, and thanks for that share, Peter. Before coming to Frank, I wanted us touch base with Paul. Paul, I know you have been documenting a lot of ideas. And, is there anything that you want to share before you come back to any other financial instruments?
Oh, really? It's I don't think I can top what all of you guys have put together, so I'm not even going to try. I just really just want to say this. I think leaders listen, learn, analyze, and act. And then this produces results, good or bad. Hopefully they turn out good if you're a good leader. And I don't have anything more to say than that. I mean, I'm trying to sum it up. I'm trying to sound smart, but I don't think I can make it any more complicated than that. You got to listen, learn, analyze, and then do something. And it results into what Frank and Shivani said. What the leader does results in what the team does. The team's going to follow you no matter what, because they're getting paid. And that's not a good thing. It'd be good if there was somebody on the team who would push back and say, I don't think that's a good idea. You know, I think that's valuable, because that's leadership. You want your team to have leadership. You don't just want them to be listeners and go do what you tell them to do. I think you want leaders on the team who push back and let you know that this is a good idea or this is a bad idea, or we can improve it if we do this. The leader might think he's got the best idea because he's listened to everybody. He's really analyzed it. He's learned. Now he's going to act. But maybe he's only got 80% of it. Leaders don't have it all. And if you think you do, you're probably wrong. Okay. Mm-hmm. There's probably another 10 or 20% or 30% or 50% that can be improved if you listen to the leaders on your team. So be willing to listen. Everybody, obviously, be willing to listen. The leader can learn also. He might think he's learned it all already, but take that one extra step. Listen to that one extra thing that your team put together for you. Learn a little bit more, and then make a decision on what you're going to do.
Well, I know Frank will agree that that's perhaps the smartest thing said on the stage so far. So don't shoot yourself in the legs, Paul, because you're right. And let me say a couple of things based on what you would have said. The 4 tenets of leadership that you have pointed out, listen, learn, analyze, and act, is so important. But I just want to add just a couple of things more to that. Recognize your weaknesses and also recognize your strengths. Because if you're a smart and wise leader, you would recognize that you're not strong in everything. And I don't want to play where I'm not strong. I want to delegate that out to other players. All right. And that's what a great leader do. He find great leaders where they have strengths, and you project them to shine in those areas. So I think those are such solid point. And I think that body of knowledge that you've just shared can be translated over to rising stars in business, because if they're to just listen to what was said there, and or let me put it this way, Paul, something foolish that I see some rising stars in business do, they become generalists. They are managing the accounts, they are managing public relations, they are managing human resources, they are managing all of that. That is a recipe for disaster. No big company operate like that. Zero, none of them. They understand what you call an organization chart, an organization structure, and they appoint human resources with specific skill sets that they are delegating and acclimatizing to function in a particular way. But here you have a rising star that hasn't recognized their weaknesses, to believe that they're Superman and Superwoman and they're doing everything. So I just want to put that out there based on what you would have said. Frank, all to you. I know you may want to challenge me on standard of leadership, but I'm prepared for the challenge. We're going to fight here today.
Yeah, and I like a good fight. But basically, I want to say Paul allowed me to go into this aspect of the role of mindset in business leadership. And Paul, you're right. When, as a leader, it's me personally, I would like to have someone who could challenge me like Gary. And so, because the thing about it then is, when you know whether you are really on a firm foundation or not, I don't want a group of yes men or yes women around me. Tell me, here, we're doing here, it makes no sense. It makes some sense, but there's another thing. And if you can bring solutions to the table, it's good. Because the role of mindset in business leadership is a pivotal one. It fundamentally shapes the way leaders perceive and respond to the environment, influencing everything from decision-making process to team dynamics. So a leader's mindset acts as a lens through which opportunities and challenges are viewed, determining the approach and strategy for navigating the complexities of the business world. Leaders with a positive, growth-oriented mindset tend to foster an environment of innovation and continuous improvement. They're more likely to embrace new ideas, experiment with novel solutions, and encourage creative thinking among the team members. And this openness to learning and adapting is crucial in a rapidly changing business landscape. I said, because there's agility and flexibility. And once you have those, these are key to staying competitive. Moreover, mindset affects how leaders handle setbacks and failures. Those with a resilient and optimistic mindset view such experiences not as definitive losses, but as valuable learning opportunities. And this attitude not only helps in maintaining morale and momentum in difficult times, but also models constructive behavior for the team. It cultivates a culture where risk taking is not shunned, but is seen as a necessary step towards innovation and growth. The mindset of a leader also significantly impacts team dynamics and organizational culture. A leader who demonstrates trust or respect, genuine concern for the team, fosters a positive work environment that boosts the morale and also productivity. Conversely, a negative or fixed mindset can lead to a culture of fear or a culture of stagnation or both, where employees are reluctant to express their ideas or take initiative. In essence, the role of mindset in doing business leadership is about creating a vision, setting the tone, building a culture that aligns with the organization's goals and values. It's about leading by example, where the leader's attitude and approach to challenges sets a precedent for the rest of the team. So, winning mindset in leadership is therefore not just about personal attributes and attitudes. It's about creating that environment where the entire team can thrive and contribute to the organization's success. And that is the role of a winning mindset of a leader. Over to Gary.
Hey, Gary, can I throw one thing in there?
Certainly, my friend. Right ahead.
Frank,
Go right
you,
ahead.
Frank, you said you like a good fight, right? Well, you got an advantage. You got no hair to pull, and your beard's too short to grab a hold of. So if you got an advantage, you're slick. You're hard to get a hold of.
Paul, let me
Yeah.
extend that. In the macho world, we don't hold ball here. We hold the clothes. The martial arts, you know, to take the clothes.
Well, you know,
Control the
you're
individual.
right. Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, you're not fighting naked. Thank goodness. Thank goodness. Or I wouldn't be on the show with you guys.
You guys got overactive imagination.
Well, we used to do this thing when you've got a large group of people together. I used to sell cars. You had 20, 30 guys together, right? Me and my friends had a little game we'd play. Who wins and why? We'd pick two people, look at their advantages, and say who wins and why. Let's go Frank versus Gary. Gary's got 20 showed up on. He's fit. He's got some action. He can move. All right. Frank was a policeman, so we know he's thrown some people around. You know, he had to. He's been had to get physical. So what does it narrow down to? Age. I don't know age matters that much. You guys aren't that far apart. I'm going to say, and you're both in great shape. I'm going to say one. The only advantage I can see clearly is Frank can grab you by your hair and pull you around, and you can't do that.
I give up. I give up. Yeah. You know, when we having fun.
I
What you
don't
say,
make
Shivani?
assumptions, Gary. I don't make a poll. I don't make assumptions. I have to see for myself. Right?
Okay, then.
So yeah,
Nice.
I want to see for myself.
Okay.
That is
Okay.
Shivani diplomatic approach
Yeah.
is saying I'm not getting involved.
No, not diplomatic at all. I want to see, so I want to see.
Okay, Shivani, I hear you. All right, guys. Well, we're having fun time. Do run. This is a topic that we're going to be talking so much about leadership and business development. We're going to bring it back ever so often in terms of the business boot camp. I do believe that if you're in business and you do not understand leadership, if you're in business and you do not understand finance, if you're in business and you don't understand project management, these are all essential leadership elements that you need to fully understand. And again, as a leader, we want to hold you to a certain standard. And when we talk about leadership and holding you to standard, can you deliver high reward? Can you deliver measurable results? Can you deliver predictable outcome with the highest degree of accuracy. And we're going to hold you to that. And we hold ourselves to that standard and those standards too. So when you come to us for any project or access to capital or business analysis or business growth, and this is how we hold ourselves accountable. Again, I want to reemphasize we have started a very unique initiative, the GIP initiative. It is tied to partnership with a few international social media platforms. And that can give you visibility fast, can get you monetized fast, and it can set you up for multiple streams of income. So get registered today with the GIP initiative. You can go to this link, which is habitsandmoney.myshopify.com, and you will see the ad there. Register. You will have to join your waiting list because so many persons from across the world are reaching out for this program. But you need to join it now. You have a support community. Paul may not be the expert on leadership, but he's an expert in terms of finance. I've sat in many rooms with this guy, and I've seen this guy really deliver power punches in terms of access to capital. And if you're following this program, you would have also hear him talk a lot about finance. I've seen him in a negotiation table, and we had a client to deal with, and the client had wanted new financial instruments. I know how this guy works, and a power player to work with. Paul, I'm going to come back to you shortly to ask you to tell us a little bit about more financial instruments as we wrap up. But I want to say this, we have a dynamic team that is committed to going to the ground and leave no stone unturned until you win. All right, and that's what I want to say. Shivani, I want to start with you to just give your thoughts and your closing remarks as we begin to pull the curtain down on today's program. Shivani?
So project management, you mentioned something, Gary, that you can't do everything by yourself. And many times we have, you have seen it, I'm sure Peter, Frank, all of us have seen it, Paul, that when you try to do everything by yourself, you're going to have failure. Part of leadership, part of project management really is about integration. You have to integrate. That's we call it one of the main processes in project management. We start to, when you learn project management, you come to do PM with me, that's the first process. How do you integrate everything? That's a concept that you want. Because you can't do everything by yourself. So integration, that is a skill that you need to develop. Sometimes people can't, we see big persons in, leadership, and we won't say leadership then, because then they can't do it. They can't lead, because leadership will teach us you can't do it by yourself. So what I was trying to say is that I have seen many persons when they don't do this and they believe they could manage and they want to do everything on their own. It's a very silo way, and the organization doesn't grow. The organization does not grow, and we want to develop business. You will not develop a business mindset like that. So integration is what you have to develop. That's a principle of project management and ties into leadership as well. Effective leadership is to be able to integrate effectively. Yes, we are saying all of these things, but my 2 or 3 cents or 5 cents in the convo is, yes, we want to do a we, but it must start with the I, right? And this is a concept that I'm developing a lot more into with a lot of research in it from an academic point, which is how do you move from an I to a we? That is a lot of great and dependent, great literature on it. Depending on the organization, depending on the culture, depending on the people that you are dealing with, you have to do many different things to turn the I into the we. And that's why I like the project management principles, because when you govern by the principles, you have to adapt it. So it's the same concept here. How do you move from an I to a we? Don't think that it's across the board, it will work the same way, right? So my closing remarks is project management, as usual, take the principles, take the learnings, and it will assist us to improve our business. We need to integrate. It starts with I, but you need to be able to convert it into a we. And that is where this whole business bootcamp conversation will, teach us more and more in how to move from an I into a we. So thanks, Gary, for allowing me to move from a single I to a we here, right?
No, I love that. And I love how expand it out into integration. And as you talk about integration, I'm asking myself, what are the wisdoms that lies in integration, business integration, human integration? And I'm excited to hear more about your thesis that you're now developing in terms of the importance of the I, for you can't undermine that, and how that I can expand into the collective, which is the integrated approach to development. Can't wait to get more of that. I'm going to come to Peter. Your closing remarks.
I want to remind individuals, the importance. We can't stress this. Planning, and designing that master plan. Oftentimes we find individuals, say for instance, persons start out at the beginning of the year, and they design some kind of a program of what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. But then as they navigate through the year, they do not resort to the plan. So the question, the situation, if we're going somewhere and we want to get there effectively, the map, even if we know where we're going, it's always important to look back at the map, to remind ourselves, to refresh our minds, because so much can change as we move along. So we want to encourage individuals to have a master plan for your life. Winging it is not. Life changes so fast. Technology, the environment, the various conditions, circumstances that we have to do, can change so fast. So having that master plan on your personal life, for your family, get into an agreement with your family, what you're doing. And as Shivani mentioned, the challenge of integration and how do we navigate from the I to the we. A master plan is a ideal tool that will assist individuals to do that navigation, because a master plan takes every concept. It takes into consideration all the components that are necessary. And when you can have a bird's eye view of what it is you're doing, when you have a bird's eye view on your mission, your message, and the movement that you're building, then it's easy to make those challenges, to navigate over those challenges and to bring changes as they arise. So create that master plan for your personal life. It is not something that you're just going to snap your finger and it happen, but at least start writing something on paper. Do a look at yourself, do an analysis of yourself. We tell individuals to take that moment and look yourself in the mirror. You are not what you do. You are definitely not what you do. So you got to find a statement that is going to effectively describe who you are as against how other people see you. And you have to determine who you are based upon the essence of the demand that your spirit understanding, as we would say. And this is it. If we go down here, there's so much that we can unearth. But then you got to understand that you are a tricompart being, and you got to consult. There is an essence inside of it that you have to consult that essence to discover who you really are. Without that, everything else, you are just going through life like an aimless ship. And we do understand that is not leadership if you're just going through life by default. So get a master plan and stick to the master plan, daily.
All right, Peter. I love the master plan. And just let me come alongside you now to say this. People function better in every area of their lives when they have a master plan. When you see you have a successful business that is scaling, they have done well in what we call the business planning. That is a master plan. All right. And they have built the right team, the right business ecosystem for that to be successful. That's what Peter is talking about. Peter is also talking about your personal life master plan. You will function better in life when you have a master plan for your life. It means now you're the anchor of your ship. You're the captain of your ship. You're the control of your destiny. And I just want to emphasize what Peter is saying here, because only this weekend I'm talking with some young folks and I'm saying to you, this is your life, but life just doesn't happen. You have to have clear mental picture in terms of the desired results that you want in your life, with your life, for business or without business. And once you have that clear mental picture of what you want, there's where the master plan is going to come in and keep you anchored and keep you focused and keep you growing and keep you expanding and positioning you to attain greatness. So I just want to emphasize what Peter would have said. And of course, he's not alone. He has a team who's going to be working with him to implement the master plan. The last thing that I want to say on master plan, I repeat this: people function better in every area of their lives when they have a clear sense of direction as to where they're going, why they're going, and how to get there. Think about this. Your entire workforce is exposed to what Peter is talking about, master planning. Because they now would have a master plan for their lives, is it likely that they're going to function better in the organization because their master plan perhaps coincide with the corporate vision? There's strategic ways in which this could be done. We have not yet begun to explore the depth of this subject, but as time progresses, I will come alongside Peter to go deeper into these concepts. So with that being said, I want to come to Master Frank. All to you, my brother.
Hey. you,
I
you
know
make me
set off on thoughts.
you make me sound like a sensei.
No, but you're the sensei of leadership, my friend.
um, I need to close by saying that if you develop a winning mindset in business leadership, you have to be intentional, because it's an intentional and continuous process that involves self-awareness, it involves resilience, and a commitment to growth. This begins with cultivating a vision that is clear, that gives a clear understanding of what you want to achieve and why you want to achieve it. The vision also serves as a guiding light because it provides direction and purpose. And leaders with a winning mindset are characterized by their ability to stay focused on their goals, even in the face of adversity, while remaining flexible in their approach. And a crucial aspect of this mindset is resilience, the ability to bounce back from setbacks. And this resilience is fostered through a combination of self-confidence and realistic optimism. Leaders must believe in their abilities and the value of their goals, but they also have to remain grounded in the realities of their situation. It's about finding that balance between ambition and practicality. When we talk about continuous learning, which is another key element in developing a winning mindset. And leaders has got to be committing to expanding their knowledge and skills. They need to stay abreast of industry trends and being open to new perspectives. And this involves embracing a growth mindset where challenges are seen as opportunities to learn rather than insurmountable obstacles. Emotional intelligence also plays a significant role. The ability to understand and manage one's emotions and to empathize with others is essential for effective leadership. It contributes to better decision making It contributes to conflict resolution and team management. So, developing a winning mindset involves nurturing certain habits and attitudes such as proactive problem solving, effective time management, and consistently seeking feedback for improvement. It also means leading by example, demonstrating the qualities you wish to see in your team, such as integrity, determination, and a positive attitude. And lastly, a winning mindset is not developed in isolation. Networking with other leaders, seeking mentorship, and building a supportive professional community can provide valuable insights and inspiration.
All right, thanks for that share, Frank. Really enjoyed it. I want to come now to Paul and ask Paul to take us to the BFC bootcamp. So, Paul, two things you're doing for me. Can you talk to us about the BFC? And can you also help us to understand some of the financial instruments that are available?
Yes, sir. Business BFC is business finance consultant. That's what I am. That's what we would like to teach you how to do. It's a high paying career. It's a new year, get a new career. If you're not happy with where you're at, let's get you happy. Money's not happiness. We know that. But if you don't have it, that's sadness. We also know that. So let's help you get chunks of it. How's that going to work? Well, we're going to teach you to be a subject matter expert. We're going to teach you to be a expert in business finance, in providing capital to business owners. And there's a lot of business owners in America. So you've got a large market. And what do they all have in common? They all need capital to grow, to succeed, and to continue operation. You can provide that for them. We'll teach you how to do it. We'll give you full training, full support. I'll be on the phone calls with you. You don't have to learn this, grab a customer, and it's all go do it yourself, because you cannot be an expert in something in after 2 weeks of training. It's not possible. Can you be an expert in less than a year? Absolutely. It depends on you, of course, but you can be pretty good at it in a year. And but until that happens, you get a customer, and we're going to teach you how to market yourself, brand yourself, market yourself, and be an expert in this subject. But once you get that customer, even though you're fully trained, you still don't want to do it alone. So you and I will get on that appointment, a Zoom meeting or a phone call with your client that you bring to the table. And you can, part of your training is you can listen to me go through the process, explain the process, diagnose their problem, provide them what they need, and close the deal. Because you can explain everything all day long if you want to, but if you don't know how to ask for the sale and close the deal, then you're not going to have anything. You're just going to be doing a lot of talking. You have to learn sales. I'll teach you sales. Gary will teach you sales. We'll teach you how to do it. Be an expert, provide a service, get paid well for that, providing that service, and close the deal. That's very important. You'll hear me do that 100 times. I'll get on the call 200 times with you until you become good enough to do it. That's what we want. That's what we want for you. How much money can you make? You get 25% of the cut. Imagine what the cut is going to be if we're financing a $500,000 piece of equipment, or a $100,000 piece of equipment, or a $3 million piece of equipment. It's not bad. It's pretty good. I know you'll like it. So we want to help you out with that. Earlier in the program, I went over equipment financing, real estate financing, factoring. I'll throw a few more programs that we have out there. Sale leaseback, working capital. So Gary mentioned earlier in the show, helping you get financing for advertising. Okay, that's not an asset. So how do you get money for advertising? Because typically when a lender puts money, gives you money, they need an asset so that if you don't pay that bill, they have something to come take back and get some of their money back. Working capital, advertising's not an asset. How do you pay for that? You got to be creative. There's two ways to do it. The SBA will provide loans for working capital, which can be used for advertising and marketing. That's one way to do it. But you got to have great credit to get an SBA loan. And if you do, we can help you with that with the SBA. If you do not, then how do you get it? Sale lease back. Your company owns assets free and clear, dump trucks, bulldozers, whatever. You have a machine shop, heavy equipment, just like it's in the back right there in a screenshot behind me. Well, that's an asset. A lease, and we can set this up for you. A leasing company will buy that from you, pay you cash for it. You can use the cash in whatever way you determine you want to use that cash. And that equipment that you sold to the leasing company, well, just because you sold it doesn't mean they come pick it up and take it back to their warehouse and use it. That's not what a sale leaseback is. A sale leaseback is you sell it to them. The equipment stays with you, stays with your company. You use the equipment like you've always done to generate profit. Make that payment every month, and the term can be 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. It's your choice. At the end of the lease, there's a $1 buyout to take ownership of the equipment back. So that's a means to an end. You used one of your assets, you financed it, pulled money out of it, took that money, improved your business with it, and make the payments. You own that equipment again. So that's one of the other programs we've got. We've got others. My closing statement on the subject that we're talking about today, leadership, is decentralized leadership. Let me read you the definition of that. Decentralized leadership allows for decision making to be delegated by top level executives to senior, mid, and lower level managers within the organization. Guess who uses decentralized leadership? Government does. You don't have the entire staff in one place at one time in case they all get blown up. There's always one presidential staff member at an undisclosed location in case something happens. That's decentralized leadership. The military has decentralized leadership. If you've got a squad of 10 guys and the leader gets killed, do you think things fall apart? They don't, because everybody down the chain is a leader, an effective leader. So that's decentralized leadership. Businesses, do they always have decentralized leadership? No, they don't. Should they? Absolutely. Family, does the family have decentralized leadership? Well, the parents are supposed to lead the family, and they do that by listening, learning, analyzing, and acting. But do the kids get a say in that? If you got good parents, they should. The parents should listen to what their kids have to say and take that information in and maybe alter their decision or go through with their decision. So I think decentralized leadership is an important thing that should be mentioned today. And back to you, Gary.
All right, thanks for that share, Paul. I do when we do the analysis on the Rothschild, one of the richest person in the world, and they have certainly developed a decentralized approach to family leadership because their legacy will live on forever. All right, they become the system that they have created. So great thought. Now I want to say hello to the audience again. And it has been a pleasure being here with you today. It has been a pleasure having you with us today. And I want to say to you that you've only got a tip of the iceberg on the content that we have looked at today. I want to encourage you to become a part of the GIP initiative and look back at this program to listen to the ad. The GIP initiative is what we call the Global Influencers Partners Program. It's a unique platform that will train you to become an influencer and then prepare you to get onto the biggest stages where you can present your content and position your business for international success. So I just want to leave that with you. Now I want to thank my team again for being here today. Peter, Paul, Shivani, Frank for being here today. You guys have made a solid contribution to today's program. And looking forward to doing this again with you guys tomorrow. So remember, call a friend, tell a friend that the business boot camp is going to be on for this week and most likely going forward. And if you have a business and you want to know more about business, you want to learn about the fastest way to cash flow your business, how to access capital, how project management can help to fast track the growth of your business, the kind of leadership skills that you need for success, or if you need to understand more about, master planning, the role that master plan can you can the role that master plan can play to springboard you into another level of success. This is the platform for you. So, with that being said, I want to say have a great week ahead, my friends. Today is Monday, and as they would say in business, thank God it's Monday because we get to hear some kishing, kishing. Okay, my friends, have a great week ahead of you, and see you guys tomorrow.